Hello WordNerds, happy ink slinging Monday. Today I want to talk about creating characters. If you've been in any of the live chats with me, you probably know that I'm a pretty hardcore pantser. I don't do a lot of planning before I start my books, I just kind of dive right in. But even though I don't think a lot about my plot, I do think quite a bit about my characters before I start writing. The way I see it, if you understand who your characters are and kind of know how they'll react, it's a lot easier to do the pantsing thing because you can just kind of throw random situations at your character and not get bogged down with wondering like, well, what will they do in this situation? So today I'm going to talk a little bit about what my process is for creating a new character when I'm starting a brand new book. I think like most people, I kind of start out with just trying to get the basics, so first things first, I always have to come up with a name. I don't feel like the character is even a real thing until they have a name. Once I have a name that I like, then I come up with a few kind of basic personality traits. What are they kind of good at? What are their likes, dislikes? Very, very vague stuff that is just very surface level. Sometimes I'll come up with just like a list of adjectives that I think might be able to describe them. I put them into a Hogwarts house because that's something that for whatever reason helps me. After coming up with those basic details, then I like to get a little more in-depth with their character. There are always two questions that I ask myself every time I'm creating a new character. The first is, what does this character want more than anything? Sometimes this can be kind of hard to answer for me because I am a pantser and I don't know a lot of the details of the plot and maybe some of the things that they want or what's going on. Related to the question of what do they want then is the question, what are they willing to do to get that? This will tie in very directly with their personality. If they have a really ruthless personality, then there's probably a lot they're going to be willing to do. If they're not as ruthless, then maybe they're going to have more obstacles in the way of getting to that thing that they want. The second thing I always really like to know about my characters before I really start writing them is what are they most afraid of? Usually this is going to be kind of related to the first question. Whatever they're most related is probably in some way the absence of whatever it is they most want. What's interesting about asking both of these questions is that, like I said, even though I'm a total pantser and I don't do a whole lot of planning with the plot right up front, these questions kind of tie in fairly heavily to plot. A lot of the time I'll use these things that I've figured out about these characters to determine certain plot points. Knowing what my characters want and what they're most afraid of makes it easier for me to think of things to throw at them when I'm on the spot writing and I'm pantsing. If I know what my characters want, then I can think of lots of things that might get in the way of them achieving that, and that's going to create conflict for the plot. A lot of times that thing that they're most afraid of is ultimately going to be the thing that I throw at them in the climax of the book. I like creating characters who grow and change and progress over the course of the book or over the course of the series, and a lot of times forcing them to face their greatest fears is a great way to make them level up to achieve that character growth. Another important thing to keep in mind is that your character might not actually be aware that this is the thing they most want or the thing they are most afraid of, and then you get the satisfaction of watching them realize that, wait a minute, this is the thing I most want, or this is the thing I am most afraid of. Whether or not you're a plotter or a pantser or somewhere in between, I think these are great questions to get you going anytime you start writing a new character. Feel free to put the answer to these two questions in the comments of this video. I'd love to hear from you guys and see what your characters are afraid of and what they want. As always, don't forget the live chat on Sunday. We hope to see you there. Have a great rest of your week, WordNerds.